Hey, what's going on? It's Walt with One Fall WrestleCast. We got a lot going on this week, man. Stephanie McMahon is taking a leave of absence from WWE. Fucking Derek, not even 30 seconds in. No, you hear Tom laughing back there. It's because this is a topic of conversation every single week when we're getting set up and when we start to tear down. Derek just goes bingy bonging with his microphone, so that's why that's funny. Anyways, WWE unifies the men's tag team championships. Video footage of Excalibur in his heyday have surfaced this evening. We're going to go ahead and we're going to talk about that. And seems to be lots and lots of drama in the WWE women's division. We got that plus a little bit more coming up right now.
Welcome to the One Fall WrestleCast.
What happened?
Derek turned into a dog.
Oh no! Oh no!
I always knew he was a furry little beast. Well, I mean, that wasn't exactly what I was expecting to see coming out of the
funny. It's real funny. I like
the intro, but here we are.
I like how the dog. I was like, he's just chilling there.
Hey, bud. We're live.
He's looking for something. He's flipping the chair.
Oh my goodness gracious! What a train wreck this dude is. Like, Tom, how are you, bud?
I'm not Tom. I'm Tim. I'm Tom's younger brother.
You, sir. You're Tom.
No, I'm Tim. I'm Tom's younger brother.
Stop with your shenanigans. That's Tom.
My brother Tom and I are actually very excited to both live our dream podcasting about wrestling.
Will you stop? That's Tom.
Why? What do you want me to take a lie detector test?
I mean, maybe. Hey, look, Derek turned back into a human.
Derek's back. Oh, he's a human again. He's not a dog. He's still muted though, I think. He's definitely still muted on his microphone.
Yeah, well, he did, I mean.
There we go.
I did that immediately it got way worse after you guys were laughing. It was I'm out of breath. That was a lot. I was like moving furniture and stuff.
We saw. We saw.
What was going on?
I thought I dropped my thing, my cigarette.
Gotta tear the roof. Gotta tear everything.
Remote as well. It made a very loud cling. Yeah. Anyway, we're good.
Hey guys, so let's just go ahead and let's hop right into this, man. Excalibur, man, not a good look for this guy. I think that anybody that knows Excalibur,
let's talk about what it is first, because a lot of people are like, what did Excalibur do? So a video resurfaced from 2005 GCW.
PWG,
or PWG. I'm sorry, not GCW.
Oh shit! You don't give it. No.
Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, which is a indie promotion of ill repute. Not really, but they're outlaw mud show bullshit wrestling.
They didn't used to be.
Well, it seems like they have been since at least 2005. And anywho, so this clip of Excalibur is Excalibur in a wheelchair. We're not going to show it, but you can look for it online. It's everywhere. The Twitter is exploding about it. And it's Excalibur in a wheelchair. acting as a severely handicapped character. However, he is still wearing his Excalibur mask. It's pretty it's wow. I mean, it's pretty intense. Especially
hey man, just because there's a mask there doesn't mean that that's actually Excalibur. That could be Lancelot.
It could be, but
Excalibur's younger brother.
Excalibur's, yeah, you're right. Well, unfortunately, it does seem to have been confirmed to be Excalibur, and I think that, and it's from 2005, which is a long time ago. But man, this video is not. I mean, I don't know that we were. I mean, maybe this would have sort of got over a little bit in the 90s, but in 2005, I feel like we were pretty well past this.
Yeah, I would agree with that timeline as well. I do feel like, you know, in the mid 2000s, you know, we were definitely on a more progressive uptick as far as how society viewed these kinds of things, right? And this isn't a good look, man. This is not a good look at all. You've got to wonder. And now, like I was getting ready to say, I think that probably a lot of the hardcore fans, right? The AEW fanboys, as we like to call them, probably are aware of this and will probably downplay this to.
They are. I mean, if you read the comments, they're like, "So what? It's years ago." It's like, but why did he? Who would say in 2005? I mean, it's hard because in 2005 I was like 20.
Yeah.
So like, you know, not something I'd have done, particularly on camera in 2005. But if you're willing to do it on camera, like what else? You know what I mean? There's like that whole. I mean, I don't know if that's the way with wrestlers, because with wrestling, it's like you've got a gimmick and you know you work your thing. But I don't know, man.
It just seems like a lot. But I'm gonna let Derek weigh in on this, and then I want to hit you guys with a follow up on this. Derek, like, what do you make of this whole Excalibur thing? PWG 2005.
I mean, I guess I have to be the one that sits here and says, "Well, guys, it was a long time ago." And things were different then. I'm not saying that it should have got over or that it even should have happened. Mistakes were made, that's for sure. And that's a terrible look. I completely agree. It's a terrible look. But should we really go back 17 years and crucify somebody now?
I mean, we did elect a orange idiot president that did that like a few years ago. So, you know, I mean, I guess to be fair to Excalibur, it was less recent than that, and we elected that. Yeah. We elected that fucker president. So
at least Excalibur was not on the campaign trail.
Yeah, at least he wasn't on the campaign trail. Yeah.
Well, Excalibur's just out here trying to make wrestling great again, guys. I mean, I don't know what your problem is.
I don't know, man. It's something I'm not going to sit here and get mad about, Noise. You know, I really think, guys, it's an overreaction from Twitter.
That went over Derek's head. Everything's an overreaction from Twitter, though. But what's going to happen? So here's the thing, though, is that Tony Khan and AEW has thrived on Twitter overreact. The Briscoes are not signed to AEW for less egregious shit than this.
Yes.
Just put it that way. And it was for like just a tweet. And it was for a tweet that was like 10 years ago or 5, something like that. So, I mean, we want to leave past in the past if we're talking about Excalibur, but when we talk about in-ring talent, you know, I mean, there's.
Well, I'm glad that you bring that up because I wanted to circle back and I want to talk about Nash Carter. You know,
exactly.
I mean, this kind of falls into the same realm. And if, you know, we're gonna look at Nash Carter and we're gonna say, hey man, this was just some dumb shit that you did in private or whatever. Like, yeah, that's a little bit different because you did it in privacy. And it just happened to have made itself to television. I did read, however, today, because I saw a tweet that was really interesting. MJF kind of flying the WWE flag this past week on the old Twitter machine. I don't know if anybody else caught that, but he's one of the things that he talked about specifically was Nash Carter. He said, hey man, I lived with this dude. Like, he is not anti-Semitic by any means. Like, let the man earn a living. Do you know what I'm saying?
I mean, MJF is Jewish, right?
Yes.
So that's
yes.
Yeah. I mean,
so
hard to Hard to say he's anti-Semitic after that, right?
Yeah. So I mean, there's that piece, right? And then I guess too, like Nash Carter had released a statement on the picture this week, also saying that was something that he did that he thought was funny. I mean, and somebody had gotten a hold of that and was going to use it to blackmail him. And then that's how his wife ended up with it. And during the divorce hearings and, the whole, not the hearings, but you know what I'm talking about? Like when they were starting to talk, that's when she was like, oh, well, I have this picture. I'm just going to go ahead and let this out. So, I feel like that in and of itself is a little bit less egregious, I guess, than Excalibur, but I too have to look at it from the perspective of, we've grown a lot as a society and we've given people passes on some things here, in the past as well. Like let's look at Sammy Guevara. That's another great example that, he said some things when he was 15, 16 years old that are not copacetic, man. Like not good at all, and he served a little bit of time, but he got his just dues. He got to come back, got to continue his career. I'm wondering if it's going to be something of a very similar effect when it comes to Excalibur and possible punishment from Tony Khan and AEW.
Well, this is strike 2 also for Excalibur, because there's also a clip of him.
Yes, that's right. That is correct.
Using the N-word in Pro Wrestling Guerrilla as well.
Yes.
So,
very aggressively.
Aggressively.
It was a very cutting edge promotion, apparently, huh?
By cutting edge, you mean
I remember Eric
Outlaw
Bischoff
Mud
actually promoting it. So
by cutting edge, you mean Outlaw Mud Show.
Let's
extravaganza.
pump the brakes on talking negative about PWG. Okay, we cannot forget that PWG has given us some of the greatest talent to ever grace our television screens. John Cena, Adam Cole, John Moxley, all those guys come through PWG. So like, it's got its place in the world. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm going to be really, really interested to see how Tony Khan reacts to the overreaction on Twitter, as he tends to do. I feel like a lot of times when we talk about things of this nature, Twitter gets brought into it an awful lot.
Well, and at this point too, Excalibur obviously knew this existed, right?
Yeah,
like, you don't forget. So
unless it's Lancelot, Excalibur's younger brother.
Yes, unless it's Lancelot, Excalibur's younger brother. So at this point, like, does he not bring it up to Tony, particularly after strike 1? Oh, by the way, in PWG also there was this angle with this.
I mean, wheelchair. I gotta feel like Tony Khan being this like just super mark for wrestling, and the fact that he hired Excalibur, he has to know about Excalibur's body of work. And I've got to feel like this is one of those skeletons that has not been very well hidden in Excalibur's closet.
No, it can't be.
So I've got to also figure that TK knew that this was out there. I'm going to be really interested to see how this plays out, though.
I mean, at this point, whenever you're working with this kind of money in these contracts, there's actually online sleuths and things of that nature. I mean, it's not hard to find someone's internet history. So there's no way that they don't know. And that's, I honestly, guys, we're the last generation to really have a time in our lives where there was not internet and everything wasn't blasted to millions of people. We had
I feel like if you had that, I feel like, the only people that know who Excalibur is Excalibur from from Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. And, even that's not the biggest, not a lot of people. Why would you, if you've got all that, but you were wearing a mask, nobody's seen your face, and now you're a man with all that, like, well, it's the masked man that did all the bad stuff. Why would you keep the mask?
Yeah.
That to me is the real question. Like, why wouldn't you, like, well, it was the masked man that did that. I'm Jimmy, what's his face? I'm not
Excalibur's younger brother.
Yeah, I'm Jimmy calls a match.
From Dumbledore, Germany.
From Dumbledore, Germany, exactly.
It's a very high level area for wrestling.
Yeah, a lot of big talent wrestles and comes out of Dumbledore, Germany there. Tommy End, who's not Tommy End, it's Malachi Black.
I hear that
That's not
Excalibur
Tommy.
once wrestled him on Mount Dumbledore.
Oh
Mount
my God.
Dumbledore. Yes.
I have and then we want to know, and then the people want to know why AEW's ratings are in the shitter this month. It's because of stuff like this. And
Well,
the thing is, the AEW fanboys come out and listen, I'm not hating on AEW, okay? I'm hating on the fan base, right? Like the ride or die, nothing else matters except what AEW is doing, okay? Like that's who I'm speaking to when I say AEW fanboy, because the people like me that enjoy AEW and what it does, I realize that WWE is a thing and it's a major thing. And I enjoy that too. Okay. I'm a normal wrestling fan.
I got it on right now. Yeah.
I'm a normal wrestling fan
we're
that
one of the
enjoys the cornucopia of professional wrestling.
whole fucking thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
AEW fanboys are the ones that will defend AEW until the fucking cows come home. And creates an unfortunate side effect of what they're actually trying to do, right? But they'll spin this to say, well, pay-per-view season, pal. Time changes, pal. Well, you can't have all your talent on every TV show, pal. So Tom, the ratings thing, that's kind of your bag,
Well,
your
so
gimmick, your shtick.
this week ratings were pretty interesting actually. Rampage's ratings, since they've been moving it around, is just they're in the shitter, and it's good. It's been a terrible show too. I don't think that they've put a lot of work into Rampage though.
Hey, look, Derek's shaking his head over there.
To be fair,
I'm agreeing with Tom.
I don't think they've put a lot of work into Rampage because of all these time changes, because they know nobody's gonna watch. So
what's it been since 4 weeks since we were at Dynamite taping, right?
Yeah.
And I think that was probably the last decent Rampage that's been on television.
Well, and
the main event was dog shit, but
yeah, but the opening match was good.
Yeah.
Well, will someone please win these damn NBA championship match?
For the love of God, somebody win the NBA
back to a normal time slot.
Somebody win the NBA title, goddammit. So I know they're not, because half of all of California is still at work at 3:00 in the afternoon when they put this on, or whatever time, 2:30 in the afternoon. So it's not like, it's not like it's that they're putting a lot of money, time, and effort into it, and it shows. But I feel like they've been trying to make up for it with Dynamite, but even Dynamite's kind of been sliding a little bit. Just this week, actually, what happened? So it started out strong, right? Because the big, they hyped a big deal, right? It was, who are the Jokers, right? We threw out all these names. It could be, oh my God, maybe it's for the men. Maybe is Miro coming back? It could be Miro. It could be, oh my God, is it Cesaro? It could be fucking whomever. It could be all these huge names, all this talent that's just out there, right? And it's John Morrison, Johnny Elite. Not the worst guy it could have been. Twitter
America's Most Wanted.
America's Most Wanted. It could have been actually AEW's Twitter botched this because they tagged Johnny Gargano, which everybody would have been for this crowd the much better Johnny to have.
Oh, for sure.
It was not Johnny Gargano, although Johnny Gargano.
And when Johnny Elite flashed on the screen for a split second, before anything happened, you were like,
and then Morrison walked out, and you were like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But it was he's not. He's certainly a WWE guy, right? And he's a WWE guy from a past generation, so he didn't quite. He got a decent crowd pop. The match was lackluster. I just don't think he and Samoa Joe worked all that great together. It was fine. It wasn't. He was just there to do a couple flips and take a loss, which they hyped up. The Joker, who's it going to be? And just some guy to show up and do a backflip and take a loss. But it was fine. Samoa Joe then got beat down to continue his feud with Jay Lethal and Sanjay Dutt, and the big guy,
Singh.
Satnam Singh, the big guy. I almost called him Satnam. I'm like, wait, no, that's not it. Satnam, yeah. This was Satin. Satin. I almost called him Satin.
Don't ever doubt yourself. You know what I'm saying?
I shouldn't have.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like,
anyway,
just keep on keeping on.
So they came out, they beat Joe down, and that was fine. But then kind of it sort of petered out there. It peaked. So it started out almost at 1 million. It was like 970,000. Got to like 980,000 for the MJF skit. And then shortly after that, Chris Jericho stood in the ring and just fumbled around like an idiot for 15 minutes. Totally like just threw the whole show in the shitter. This was like only an hour into a 2-hour show. Jericho's like fumbling around like some kind of a drunk toddler talking about nonsense that nobody gives a shit
about. How dare
about.
you disrespect the Wizard of Pro Wrestling like that?
Yeah, anyway, for 15 minutes talking to like a drunk toddler, just blah, 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 blah. I don't know. I went and took a poop and just left and came back. But anyway, you could tell that threw off the rest of the show. The rest of the show now is under a time constraint. We get down to the main event, and there are 5 minutes left on the clock, and they need to take another commercial break. Nobody got in. Adam Cole, baby, did not get an entrance. I couldn't believe that. They start in the ring. Match gets underway. 30 seconds into the match, they cut to the last commercial break. Most of that 4-minute match goes on during the commercial break, and then it ends. It was, I mean, your main event. It's not like they had other good things on this show. Like the MJF Wardlow thing was like the pinnacle, and you let Chris Jericho, like, just cut him out, you get that oversized like candy cane.
It must be summertime because the Chris Jericho Tom hate is starting to boil.
So anyway, so they started with almost 1 million, and they ended the night pretty much as Chris Jericho threw the whole thing in the shitter around 700,000. So they lost something like 300,000 viewers in of like 15 or 20 minutes, and it's ridiculous because it just goes back to what continues to be AEW's problem is that there's no cohesion. The booking is all over the place, and they're back to like having both the best segment of the week and the absolute worst segment of the week, all on the same show, and nothing ties the show together. Like right now, I'm watching Raw. Right, it's a 3-hour show. Matt Riddle, who just lost on Friday, is coming out addressing the crowd. I can't tell what he's saying, but they just lost the SmackDown Tag Team titles. I'm assuming this is going to be a continuing thread throughout this 3-hour show. But they're setting it up with Matt Riddle here, but they don't do that in AEW, and they don't necessarily have to. But at the same time, it's just a disjointed bunch of segments sometimes. And when some of those segments go too long and are shit. Looking at you, Chris Jericho, it throws the whole show in the shitter because the rest of everything else is then screwed up, and it had nothing to do with that. It's not like, oh, well, the promo went long so we can cut into the match. It's like, no, Chris Jericho has nothing to do with the main event. Why did he get 15 minutes?
So Jericho's fallen into the Cody spot now, is what you're saying.
Absolutely. He did on Wednesday, and then they never really recovered from it. They let Serena Deeb cut a rushed promo. You could tell they just threw a camera in her face. She just spit out some words, and then they cut real quick back over to the main event. And it was like, what?
I'm actually glad that you brought Serena Deeb up because, she took a lot of shots at WWE in her little promo there, man.
She did.
When's it gonna stop?
What? They don't do this on WWE. They don't take shots at AEW. It's happened 0 times. Triple H did it one time during the Hall of Fame. He called it an overpriced T-shirt company.
Yep,
that's the only time.
I mean, when's it gonna stop, buddy?
I think honestly, you guys are really looking too much into it. I mean, it's not a shot at WWE. I mean, it is, but not as much as it is.
Absolutely. She said, "I shaved my head for you."
Her personal story. this is not kayfabe. This is
everybody gets to
Yeah,
gets to do it. Every last wrestler gets to come out and be like, "Here's why I don't like WWE on AEW programming." Why do
if
they
that's what
mention
it's.
it? What's it take?
But-
What's it doing? What is it doing other than driving people's eyeballs off of the product, getting them to change the channel? Because I'll tell you, during that Serena Deeb promo where she was doing that, that's when people were changing the channel. They were going from 900,000 to 700,000 views at that point in time. It was a drop. I'm telling you right now, you go from $900,000 to $700,000 without doing anything. I'm just saying that's a big drop, man, and they're dropping the ball by letting people go out there and be like, "Let's shake my head for WWE."
So
it's not okay.
I understand where you're coming from with the numbers and
that they're
everything. And
shitting
you're
the-
right. It is
yeah.
bad business. But I'm just saying personally, I did enjoy it. I didn't think it was shit. I thought it was a fire promo myself. Like,
It was
the
fine.
fact that you're sitting here
it was
being
fine.
like,
No,
it sucked.
it was good. Like, I'm not mad at the promo. Like, she deserved that time to have that promo, and she delivered. She absolutely delivered. But
See, I don't agree with that.
take out that middle 11 seconds where
Yeah.
she talks about her sacrifices for the business, and I shaved my head for a company that didn't care. Blah blah blah. You just
Don't do that.
deleted. And then pick it up right after the pervy old man line, and that promo is fucking perfect, right? Because she is absolutely everything that she said that she is. You know what I'm saying? And like, I've been sitting here singing her praises since she came onto the AEW scene, and knowing who she was and where she came from. Like, she is absolutely deserves to be in the spotlight, more so than Thunder Rosa, actually, because here's a little nugget of information, gentlemen. I don't know if either of you know. Since winning the AEW Women's Championship, Thunder Rosa has been on television a total of 13 minutes.
That sounds about right.
And has not wrestled a single match.
That sounds about right.
Which is why I will not be mad if Serena Deeb takes it off of her. I don't know about Tom, but honestly, I'd be fine with it.
I like Thunder Rosa. I really
do too.
I think that, like, I think AEW's, not to beat on AEW, but they continue to drop the ball with stuff like this because, they put all this prestige in their champions, right? And then once they have champions, they don't use them. Look, the crowd is behind Thunder Rosa. The crowd likes Thunder Rosa. They want to see her. Have her come out and compete on, that doesn't have to be every week, but every other week. Put her in a tag team match. Have her build. Why can't she? She's got friends, right? In AEW, like, she's not that she's part of a stable, but like, you could stick her and another babyface together, and they could tag team against Serena Deeb and some other heel or something.
Yeah, we don't do that here. We have real tag team divisions.
Right, because why would we show off the champions when we could just ignore the champions entirely, and the championships mean nothing, and we can let Chris Jericho
maybe they should just make an announcement that says tune in at dark on YouTube, and you can watch the women's champions. Or you can watch these champions.
How about
or
this?
Those champions.
How about this? Seriously, how about this, Tom? You bringing up the champions, and this kind of really echoes your sentiment about the handling of Hangman Adam Page.
Yeah,
and
where the hell's
it's
he?
all like Tony Khan is so good at writing the chase that he doesn't know how to make that chase mean something after you've reached the goal.
Well, I'll tell you what, and as much as I shit on Kenny Omega's championship, at least we saw Kenny. Kenny came out at least. Kenny'd be in tag matches with the Bucks. Kenny'd be out and around. He'd be out there. They'd cut a promo. You'd at least see him once a week. Hangman doesn't cut promos really. He comes out. He does a little bit, and there's confrontations and stuff, but he hasn't been in a match since his last title defense. There's been no tag team match, no like weird backstage brawls, nothing like that. It's just no run-ins at the end, no, I don't know. It's hard to like, I feel like he and Adam Cole had a good thing. They had a good, and he was in a tag team match at some point, with in and around that feud. But then they were just like, once you got somebody out of that feud, like once Adam Cole wasn't in that feud anymore, putting an input or something, it went back to what it was, which was nothing. And it's just staring at each other.
But that's what I'm saying, right? It's like they're almost so good at getting you to the top of the mountain. They don't know what to do once they're there, right?
No.
And Derek, like I've got to know, right? Like, are they telling the story like so well on the front end that as we get closer to pay-per-views, they don't know where to go with it? So they just kind of have to like be stagnant and do nothing to kind of keep
Make
it
it to
from
the pay-per-view.
climaxing before the pay-per-view. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I've seen more than anything out of this company so far, and I don't like it, but is the long-term storytelling where you have to go back 6, 8, 12 months. Like, oh, well, that's why this happened here, and that's why this wasn't being said here. And
you don't like that.
I don't. If I've got to go on the Facebook groups and be like, oh.
Weren't you one of the guys that was out here screaming from the rooftops that WWE needs to build more long-term storylines?
Well, they should
give us better payoffs.
So
what weren't you one of those?
Here that I don't remember what the hell you're talking about whenever it happens. Not you. I remember what you're saying. But, a year ago, like, I don't remember a year ago. I don't remember, Dynamite on February 22nd. You don't even
remember 30 minutes ago, pal. You know what I'm saying?
No. I've got maybe the last minute and 45 seconds under my belt right now.
Solid goldfish time there. So I think, just to piggyback off what you guys are saying here, as far as the long-term, they try to do long-term everything, and it just ends up being, we're going to put this on a shelf for a week. We're going to put that. It's not so much long-term as much as it's like
a stall tactic.
It's like a stall tactic. Exactly. It's not long-term like, oh, we're building to something. We're planting the seeds. There's no seeds being planted. We just, okay, here's the challenger. They're going to look at each other for 10 seconds at a time. You're not going to get promos. You're not going to get, tag matches involving them. You're not going to get run-ins, any of that stuff. I mean, that's what wrestling's always been, right?
Yeah.
Like, even if you didn't see Hulk Hogan, he'd come out, let me tell you something, brother. Blah, 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 blah. Even he'd run out, interfere in a match or something, or you'd see the man, he'd cut a promo, he'd interfere in the match. It wouldn't just be he'd walk down. When we were there, the Hangman came out for Dynamite. This is the only time he didn't come out for a Rampage. He came out for Dynamite, walked halfway down the ramp, stared at CM Punk, and they went to a commercial, and then he left.
Yep.
That was it. The whole week of television, your champion spent 5 seconds, didn't say a word, stared at the guy who was going to be his opponent 2 months from then, right? Like, we're a month removed. 2 months from then, Hangman Page hasn't been in a match since then. It's been a month, and he's not going to be in a match until Punk's going to be in. He's been in 2 matches because he was in that one that night. He's been in one since then. I don't know if he's going to schedule to wrestle.
You know what? And maybe we're missing the boat on this altogether. You know what I'm saying? Maybe this is them protecting their investment in Adam Page and not having him take bumps every single night. And maybe they do seem to think that he'll grow into his role and this might have long-term legs. So they're not trying to trot him out there.
Well, I'll say to that though, is that they're not keeping people's eyes on the product then either, because like I just said, the ratings drop like a stone. As basically everybody tunes in. It's like, oh my God, who's the special surprise? All right, I need to see the MJF thing. And then the ratings drop like a stone. So, I mean, you trot MJF out there every week to do something because the eyeballs are going, like, people are turning on the TV to watch him. He was the highest rated segment, and he's generally, if not the highest rated segment, one of the highest rated segments of the week every week. And then, they let Chris Jericho talk with his idiot band behind him, and they're just, boo.
Yeah. I mean, we all know what MJF's capable of. Hey, another interesting side note here. On Twitter this week, I don't know if either of you saw this. somebody had made a tweet that said $20 million tied up into the WWE PC, and they've not made one star yet. And MJF
Oh yeah,
replied
speaking of MJF,
MJF replied to this tweet, Derek. Some of you people are so fucking stupid. And then he names off all of these stars, right?
he
And
named off
goes,
like 5 and was like, and that just scratches the surface.
yeah.
Yeah.
So he buries this guy. So this is 2 times in 1 week that MJF picked up that Hartford, Connecticut flag. Well, sorry, that Stamford, Connecticut flag, and stuck it into the old Twitter, the old Twitter soil there. What do you think, man? Huh? Making
So
a play?
is the question, is MJF going to go to WWE? I think MJF's going to go where the money goes, and he's already said that. I don't think that's a gimmick. You know, I know that guy's always in character, but I don't think that's a gimmick. I think if Tony Khan offers him $3 million and the WWE offers him $4 million, I think he's going to go to the WWE. If Tony Khan offers him $1 million and WWE offers him $3 million, I think he's going to go to the WWE. I think it's going to be a money thing. I don't know. Tony Khan decided not to, give him a pay bump and extend his contract or whatever after their negotiations. I don't know what numbers he was looking for. I don't know what he thinks he's going to get.
We argued about this last week.
We did,
right?
but you're right. I mean, this is just a continuation of that, though.
Right, and then too, it came out, Derek. It came out this week. Okay, that a lot of the guys in the AEW locker room feel the same way MJF does about all of these guys coming in and not and getting paid, and the guys that were there to help get it off the ground aren't making those kind of dollars. What say you, Mr. Derek?
I hear you, man. I would also not be very happy with the situation, and I can't blame the guy. Do I think it's a play? Do I think it's legit? Yeah, of course it is. But he's as big enough of a star that nothing's going to happen to him, and he knows it. So, of course, he's going to play to the public. He's going to put his whole entire contract situation out there. And it's going to pay off in the end. Like Tom said, if they offer 5, Tony offers 3, yeah, he's leaving. What if Impact offers 6, though?
Impact
can go to Impact.
Impact doesn't have $6 million.
Hey, man, you never know. Like
they would Impact would be filing for bankruptcy if they offered him.
We're gonna need a loan because we're gonna pay this guy.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, how fucked up? Hey, Tony, listen, we're going after this really top dollar free agent, right? We need a little bit of help. You know what I'm saying? Like, can we do a little extra cross promotion? You throw me a couple extra bucks, help me land this guy. And then, boom, boom, boom. MJF ends up at Impact and AEW footed the bill for it. How fucked up would that be?
I'd laugh
if he walks out as the AEW champion at that point. I truly feel like Punk's going to pick it up off of Hangman, and then MJF's going to take it off of Punk finally.
Punk better pick it up. Punk better pick
revenge.
it up off of Hangman. I thought Adam Cole should have got it.
I thought so too.
When they had that rematch, it felt right, and ever since then, it couldn't have felt more right. I couldn't have been proven more right. I felt like,
I've not been high on Cowboy shit since day one. So like that to me, I mean, it's.
You should be the highest on the Cowboy shit. Look at you.
Nah. So yeah, he actually might be now. Minus that Adam Cole feud, he's probably the worst champion AEW's ever had. Period.
Yeah, you gave Kenny Omega a little reach around there, pal. You must be getting soft.
I know, right? Well, absence makes the heart grow fonder, and he's been gone for a while. Not as long as Miro, though.
Yeah. I guess he's doing some television shows now, so it might be a little while before we see him. But we'll circle back to Miro here in a little bit. I'm sure. I do want to touch on a couple of things before we get into the meat and potatoes, and we are starting to, Joey Janela caught himself on fire this week, Tom.
Yes, he did. Shot a flaming super kick, but that didn't go so well because that guy only took a super kick and he remained on fire.
So in accordance and paying respect to your burial of Joey Janela and you saying that you were never ever going to speak of him again, right? I saw this. I was scrolling the timeline and I saw it, and I watched the video clip. I giggled and I said, "Yeah, we're talking about Joey Janela, but I'm not going to be the one to bring it up." So I just kept scrolling, right? And like,
Sure enough,
I
I'm
think
the one.
probably it wasn't even 45 minutes later. Ding! I look and Tom's like, "Look at this fucking idiot."
This idiot lit himself on fire. Look,
I'm
it's
like,
fun. It's if you're real stupid, it's funny when you light yourself on fire. I have, you know, it plays into the whole outlaw mud show wrestler. Oh, Joey Janela accidentally lit himself on fire. You don't say. You don't. Would have never guessed. If I'd have seen if I'd have seen pro wrestler accidentally lights foot on fire, I wouldn't. He'd be like one of my first guesses, right? I'd be like, oh, it was Janela, wasn't it? It was Joey Janela. He lit himself on fire. Sure enough, Joey Janela lit himself on fire, and you know what? I gotta chuckle out of it. So shout out to him for making me laugh once this week.
you know, it's just real funny. Fucking that guy. Hey man, but you know, he did take your body shaming to heart. He's been working on his physique a little bit, man.
He has been. He's looking pretty swole. He should have done that when he first got into AEW, not like as he's about to get fired. You know, maybe he should have lit himself on fire in AEW. That seems to work out in AEW sometimes too.
So while Derek stepped away, let's go ahead and let's talk about Stephanie McMahon, because I'm not really sure that he gives two fucks about this. So Stephanie McMahon has decided to step away and take a leave of absence from her duties as chief brand officer for World Wrestling Entertainment. Stephanie McMahon, and this is actually for me, okay, looking at this, and this is like a really interesting time for me, because one of her biggest things that she does as the CBO for WWE is works hand in hand with Special Olympics, and the Special Olympic Summer Games in Orlando are coming up next month. So for her to step away with that large scale project that she works on year in and year out, coming up here pretty quickly, this is kind of puzzling to me.
Yeah, I mean, she said she did spend more time with her family. Apparently, Triple H is now also back full time.
Yes.
So, I mean, as good as it is that his health is back and he's back full time, I do think that, you know, she's worked a really busy schedule for, I mean, since, you know, what was 22, at least 22 years plus.
Yep.
I mean, she's worked both a backstage role and occasionally an onstage role. You know, they have what, three daughters now, 3 girls.
Yep.
And you know, pretty much every second of that's been, you know, working. So I think
right,
that,
and I'm sure the last several months have been really difficult on her too. You know,
and
having the Hunter thing. You know, him like legitimately not being in great health, and I'm sure that she's probably tired too.
Yeah, so I mean, I think this is, you know, if it's just a step away of, you know, I gotta step back, take care of myself, take care of my own health, and spend some time with my family, because, you know, healthiest guy in the world, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, a guy that would wake up at 5 a.m. every day, work out, you know, meal plans. You're talking about a guy who's been in impeccable shape, having cardiac issues, going into cardiac arrest, needing a pacemaker at what is he, 51?
Yeah, 52? Something like that.
I mean, he's not an old man. I don't think my
because I figured he was going to be the new Undertaker, right? Like,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? But it just was not to be. You know what I find really super interesting about this whole thing, though? It came out this week that WWE was planning on hiring a chief brand manager, somebody to handle the day-to-day that Stephanie would while she's on her hiatus.
That makes sense.
To me, man, I feel like this is just a move to kind of take a step back, right? Like, she's created and forged a lot of ongoing, lifelong commitments with a lot of major organizations. Like I said, Special Olympics being one of them.
Well, and then Connor's Cure too. If you want to
Yep.
look at the WWE's own internal thing, that's mostly her, and just everything that they do that's good PR is Stephanie.
Absolutely.
Right. Like
Absolutely.
anything that's good PR, Stephanie did that. Anything that's bad PR, Stephanie had nothing to do with that. Nobody asked her about it, and they probably should have, because
yes, absolutely.
There's that. So I really think that her stepping, good for her. I like when people take vacations, and she's one of those people that's worked really, really hard for a long time, and everybody doesn't have to be her father. You don't have to work 70 hours a day until
absolutely.
you're deep into your 70s, and that type of work schedule will kill most people. And it hasn't killed Vince McMahon, but who's to say it wouldn't kill his children? So yeah, absolutely. Take a step back, hang out with your kids. My wife likes to remind me whenever I'm like, I don't know if I want to spend the money on doing this. They're only little once. I said, all right, okay, you win. They're only little once.
Yep.
So yeah. But that's and I think that's maybe what happened to her, is they're only little once, and they almost saw their dad go down. So maybe it's time to hang out with the kids a little bit. I'm sure she'll be back. Eventually, I would imagine she'll be back around WrestleMania time, but or maybe even back for the summer, Special Olympic stuff, at least part time, and then we'll see what we'll see what comes about. But hopefully, I would say that some time off is well deserved.
No disagreement here, Derek. We went ahead with that because we figured you would give zero fucks about Stephanie McMahon stepping away as the chief brand officer. Do you have any input on that?
Oh, great for her. I mean, as you guys have already said, I'm glad she's able to do that. That's fantastic. I wish I had the ability to take some time off anytime I wanted. But unfortunately, my daddy doesn't own a billion-dollar business.
25 years from now, Derek, maybe you can. Maybe 25 years after being an on-screen and off-screen talent, maybe you can. Who knows?
I was waiting for the snarkiness.
Yeah. That's where it comes from, the heart, deep down below in the depths,
in the subcockles.
Yeah, this is some bullshit. Fucking working the rest of my life for goddamn paycheck to paycheck, and you just take 4 months off.
Hey,
right during SummerSlam season?
It's always something season, buddy.
But this from the guy who 2 weeks ago defended Roman Reigns taking a reduced schedule. Fuck out of here, pal. Speaking of Roman Reigns and the bloodline,
he's the fucking tribal chief. The tribal tree. He is the tribal tree and the head of the family.
He's the head of the tree of the family of life.
Yeah, he's the oak that the family branches from.
He's the Odinson.
So the bloodline, the bloodline continues to be the number one story in all of WWE land. This week on SmackDown,
they're on TV right now, and they have been for
Usos
34 minutes.
Took on RK Bro in a tag team title unification match, and we have unified the tag team titles. Derek, what's your opinion on the fact that the bloodline has unified all of the titles?
It's perfect. It's obviously classic booking as far as it went over. The bad guys got over, but there was interference. The ref didn't see it. Paulie's here on commentary. Oh, no, now he's going over there. What's he doing? Oh, he's got the ref. And then Roman pushes Matt Riddle down so that Jimmy can put the finishing frog splash on the man. I loved it. It's classic booking, boys. Now we got a fair shake. You know the good guys are going to come out in the end.
So full disclosure, talking about this, I knew that the Usos had won without watching the match, right? Like I hadn't seen SmackDown yet. I just read that they won. And then I started like seeing little things, and they were talking about Roman interfering and then his promo. This all happened in like a day and a half before I sat down to watch SmackDown. Anyways, so looking back at it, I was just like, oh, that's kind of strange. Paul Heyman's never come to the ring with the Usos ever. They're telling it right here. But it was absolutely great TV, and it's just a shame. I'm fairly certain I called for this to happen like a year and a half ago. Tom, my question for you is, what do you think? Do you think that these unified titles, Derek? What?
Just one thing. Did any of you guys catch that? Pat McAfee called Paul Heyman Paulie.
Yeah.
That was great.
He always calls him Paulie.
Does he?
Yeah, all the time.
I love it. Love it
all the time. So anyway, Walt, what
So
you're gonna ask me?
my question to you is, with the unification of the major championship and the tag team championship, what do you think is going to happen long term with the unification of these titles?
Oh, I hope it's the end of the brand split. That would be fantastic. I hate the brand split so much.
Man, I feel like we talk about this every single time we go down this rabbit hole.
But there's nothing now. It's really like there's nothing stopping them from doing. There's nothing stopping them from ending the brand split. Nothing stopping them. So,
the rumor is right up until the Usos hit the curtain, nobody knew whether or not they actually wanted to unify the titles.
Well,
I think it was a perfect decision at a great time.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I think it solidifies the story they've been telling for years at this point, that how Roman Reigns and the Bloodline. Like, I mean, just remember Roman Reigns putting the Bloodline together with the Usos, and then it was with Jay, and then
he feuded.
Jimmy.
Well, he feuded with Jay. Don't forget.
Did.
And they had a fantastic story together.
And then Jimmy came back, and there was that continued with it, and then
was
finally
that when Jimmy was his boy, and then like he was Roman's buddy, and Jay was still hating on him. Is that what we're talking about here? Just
no. It was the other way around, because Jay was first he feuded with Jay, and then he and Jay got tight after that feud, and then Jimmy came back from being hurt, and then same thing. Like after that, they played them off Roman played them off each other, and it was great. So that whole build of them together.
That was Mob Boss Tribal Chief.
It was Mob Boss Tribal Chief, and then they, and it just since progressed from there. Is that now he's got this dominant faction of three men and a wise man, three guys and a wise man. Now they got all the because he's the wise man. Now they got all the belts, man, and it's great to see. I love that it happened just on SmackDown.
Yeah.
I don't know if I think I've seen the SmackDown rating, but I think it was pretty high. It was almost 2 mil, or it was around 2 million or something like that. So yeah, it was good. It's been building really well, and it's been building week on week. We just talked about AEW
across 2 shows, by the way.
Yeah, but it's been building twice a week, every week across 2 shows, and it finally came to fruition. And it was what a crescendo.
It's amazing to me that they were able to build this so well across 2 shows, right? And like how great this has all been. And I can't wait to see where this is going to go. I really, really cannot wait to see where this whole title unification thing is going to go. If they're going to condense it, end the brand split, whatever. However, if they were able to do it with this one storyline, why were they not able to do it with the women's tag team championships?
Now you're asking the hard questions, and I guess this gets into the meat and potatoes of what's going on. I see it as 2 ways. I don't really have a lot of sympathy for Sasha and Naomi walking out, especially after finding out what I know that Sasha and Naomi were upset that they were sort of, again, putting the tag team champions on a back burner. But at the same time, there aren't any tag teams for them to fight, right? Like, why slap together tag teams when you could have good feuds with other good women in singles championship runs? To me, it's just good. It's better booking. Like, I feel like they've pigeonholed themselves, and they've pigeonholed the women. And maybe the women want the tag titles, and maybe that's why they keep them around. But they've sort of pigeonholed the women into this, like, okay, well, we got these tag titles. What the hell do we do with them? and it's
because you have 4 main women at any given time. You have the SmackDown champion, the Raw champion, and whoever's challenging for those 2 championships. And then that leaves the rest of this women's division in complete and utter flux to feud and build their resumes and their storylines and shit around the women's tag team championships. Now, in theory, that sounds great, right?
right,
It
but it doesn't work out.
But they don't dedicate the effort, I feel, that they used to dedicate to just having a singular women's title. If you remember when they made the transition from the Divas title to the women's championship, and Charlotte Flair was the first one, and you had Charlotte and Sasha and Becky, and
Bailey.
No,
Bailey.
it wasn't Bailey right away.
AJ was gone.
No,
AJ Lee.
But anyways, that's neither here nor there, right?
Alexa.
So like, but
Alexa
Alexa Bliss, that's who I wanted to. But like, they focused all of their efforts on this singular championship, right? And the division took over. Like, there wasn't, a week at the beginning of this whole thing that we started doing, and like that was past all the things I'm talking about, that we didn't come in here and clamor over the WWE women's division week after.
Oh yeah. And NXT too, because at the time the NXT women's division was also on fire.
So now I look at it from a standpoint of, like I know I was a little hot because Derek, I'm gonna get to Derek so he can shit all over Sasha Banks, but I'm gonna try to change his mind here, right? I very much live in the standpoint of Sasha Banks was integral in helping to build this women's division, right or wrong.
No, you're right. I agree.
Okay.
Agreed.
A lot of the backstage chatter and rumors would suggest that a lot of the girls, women, ladies look to Sasha as a locker room leader. True or false? We don't know, right? So maybe this was kind of her way of just saying, hey, like, maybe this wasn't her taking her ball and going home like we've had in previous. Now, yeah, the report has come out that she was upset that she got removed from the SmackDown Championship, title picture when Ronda Rousey came back. And I think that WWE is exponentially making a mistake by thinking that they're going to make more money with Ronda Rousey than they would Sasha Banks. But that's neither here nor there, and we don't need to get into that. But maybe this is Sasha taking a stand for the rest of the women that aren't Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, Ronda Rousey, and Bianca Belair right now, right? Maybe that's what this is. Maybe there's more to it, and we don't know because they're being shish. All I know is WWE has taken every chance to publicly bury these two in unprecedented steps that they have never, ever, ever taken.
So that seems fishy to me. And we talked about this last week, how I'm always willing. I want to be worked, right? Like, work me, make it work. What if this is a work?
I mean, that would be great,
right? It's not like it wouldn't be, because that would be cool, right? And it would be too cool for them to do this as a work, right? It would just be too cool. So it's not going to be a work. But how cool would it be if it was a work? Like if they held this tag title, tournament that they're going to hold for it. And like Sasha and Naomi just like keep showing up and like fucking up the matches. Like, how cool would that be, right?
Yeah, but they're not
going to do that. Here. No, we're not. It's not what we're going to do, because that would be cool, and they're not going to do something that's cool like that. But I'm just wishful thinking. And
here. That's fair. That's fair. But Derek, I'm interested to get your opinion on this, because I mean, we all know that you are number one Sasha Banks hater. Like, you're the president of the Sasha Banks hate club. Like,
president.
You know what I mean? Like, you're the founder, CEO. Like, I've never heard somebody speak as bad about Sasha Banks as you. And like, I'm interested to get your take here, pal.
Yeah,
or Mercedes.
We all know, boss time has come to an end. And I could not be any happier about this little development here.
I can't believe you went
this woman, how many times has disagreed with the booking took her ball, and went home. Twice
Three.
now.
Three.
3 times. This
That's
time,
three.
dragging another talent with her, who, as much as I like Naomi's work, does not have the same name recognition, nor does she have the same pull amongst the locker room and, the executives.
Jimmy needs a ride.
You're
How's
bringing-
Jimmy gonna? Who's giving Jimmy rides home now?
Yeah, you've got
Jimmy
your
can't
husband
drive. He's
who
got like 2 or
can't
3
drive himself
DUIs.
currently. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
got,
got no license.
she's still got to drive to the arena.
Yeah.
Too soon.
Oh, that
But
tweet was
no,
hilarious.
like,
What do you mean Naomi left? Jimmy's
Yeah.
there. How's he gonna get home?
How's Jimmy gonna get home? Jimmy's just sitting on a curb.
Yeah, Mom
Sure.
forgot me at soccer practice.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Roman gonna pull up and beat his ass for being
Yeah,
stupid. Throw him in the car.
Roman's gonna turn back around, pick him up.
Get in this car right now.
Get in this goddamn car.
Nah, but Derek, go ahead. Continue your hate monger speech on
I
social.
mean, but no, it's not hate mongering one bit, man. It's just you did what you did. There's consequences for what you did. You've already done this before. You know what's going to happen, and they've brought you back every time. So you're pushing the limit here of what we're going to accept. And the Mr. Khan over here on WWE side is already going through the Mortal Kombat tower of executives.
Dude, I saw that. I meant to
On
bring that up.
his
when we were talking
way
about
to
Stephanie McMahon.
running this thing entirely. I don't know how quickly he's going to be wanting to bring you back, because currently they can keep you on a suspended indefinite contract. You've only got maybe 3 months left, from what I understand, at least in Naomi's situation. I'm not sure about Sasha, but they can just leave you in limbo.
Yeah, and just
And after
pay you the minimum on your contract, and then what they did that I was super telling to me, right? They removed them both from the WWE shop, and they can get no merchandise royalty. So
absolutely,
that's like stone cold fucking savage shit right there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
That ain't happening for kayfabe unless they're like, all right, we'll pay you the average monthly for the next X amount of months while we do this storyline. But I truly don't see all those things lining up.
Well,
and
like
Bruce
I said,
Pritchard sitting back there going, that sounds good. Yeah, no.
Yeah, like we said, it's like that would be cool. So that's not what's happening. It's not going to work like that, because that would actually be like, oh man, it was so cool. I can't believe they worked us like that. That's why it's not happening, because that would be too cool, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But it brings a lot of things that have happened on the old wrestling Twitter this week. Lots of chatter around this whole walkout, and was Sasha and Naomi right? Were they wrong? The talent roster in general across all pro wrestling seems to be divided, right?
Well, apparently backstage, WWE backstage is like kind of sort of shocked and appalled, especially because this is like obviously Sasha's not, this isn't her first offense, and if it WWE creative is not creative, right? And it seems to me like they weren't even really getting saddled with bad booking per se. It was just something they didn't like, which isn't really. I don't know. I mean, I get it. I get, being like, but we got these tag title belts and we want to defend them. It's not like they're having them lose them. And let's face it. I mean, they haven't been the best represented belts anyway. So I don't know how you could get them and be like, oh, it's going to be different this time. It's not going to be different this time. It's going to be the same as always this time. And it's just going to happen.
If you remember correctly, the only time that these titles I feel were represented fairly was the last time that Sasha Banks was the tag team champions with Bayley, and they had all the gold.
Yeah.
Well,
that was years ago at this point. Years ago. And apparently Bayley's still not ready to come back. So that's, nobody's coming to save the day. Because I mean, let's face it, out of the two, Bayley's really you want to put something on Bayley's shoulders, she'll pick it up and run with it, and
Sure.
She is eyeball grabbing TV. We'll put it that way.
Fellas, the thing with the tag team championships is I'm sure that it was in the embryonic planning stages when they actually had somewhat of a tag team division for the women. I mean, you had the Iconics.
Yep.
You had some things going down in NXT.
Iconic.
You had Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai. That was good.
Coming up. They were coming up.
Ember Moon
You had
and what's her
Shotzi.
face?
Shotzi. Yeah.
Now Shotzi's over here jobbing. You know,
Every
you
week.
had some legitimate
What she
tag
should be
teams.
doing.
Yeah,
She's
you had
terrible.
Ruby and you
had the Riot Squad. That's a good point. You had the Kabuki Warriors because you had Asuka and Kairi
Kairi
Sane.
Sane. Yep.
Yeah. So,
you had a legitimate tag team division that made sense and had storylines going with it. So it
now half of them are released.
Yep.
Exactly. And that's where we're at
And-
now. Is half of them
yeah.
are released. You now have the tag champs, and what do you want me to do with them? I'm sorry. I'm sorry you're unhappy that you're the champion, but there's no established tag teams.
There's no other teams for them to fight. Yeah. Like who are they gonna fight?
He's already pulled over. He can't pull over anymore.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
what do you want to do?
Like, I guess we can put who you even it doesn't make any sense. I mean, I think truth be told, it would make more sense to have not had the tag team title belts and to have had some sort of a mid-card women's title, like an intercontinental title of some sort.
A singles title.
Just because I mean, you know, at that one point, I guess there was a blossoming tag team division that somebody then just decided,
decided to throw it in the trash.
Yeah,
but we're going to keep the shiny new thing. Yeah, we're going to keep the pot of gold.
The belts. Yeah, and then it's impossible to do anything with the belts. It's impossible to tell a story with it.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, but so I want to circle back. You know, the Twitter.
And then hold on, and this is why it's like I could understand being mad with them. It's like, oh well, you're going to put us in these huge like main event level things individually, but what about our tag title belts? It's like, what do you mean? What about the tag title belts? There's nobody to fight. What the fuck?
Look around. Who do you want?
So how could they be so upset over? I just don't get it. Anyway, go on. Sorry.
No, you're good. So, anyways, CM Punk's been very outspoken towards WWE and their handling of this entire situation. And he had made a tweet this week. I know, right? He had made a tweet this week about, you know, together, you know, we're stronger than by ourselves. And, you know, if we unite together against them, they can't do it without us, you know, whatever. I'm just kind of speaking, you know. What I thought was really interesting, two parts, right? First of all, bro.
Yeah.
Bro. Really?
Bro.
Okay. And secondly,
the guy is the king of picking up his ball and going home.
Yes. And secondly, Mira replied to this tweet with a laughing, crying face emoji.
Gotta love Miro. I wish he'd come back. Like, I feel like I give him a hard time because it's like, what is wrong with this?
Because you love him. It's because you want the best in him.
I want him back. Like, what was he like? He's nursing long-term injuries, but he doesn't seem to be nursing injuries because he's doing backflips on Instagram, and now he's in TV shows. And it's like, what injury?
Well, his wife opened an OnlyFans and made $20,000 in her first 3 hours.
Right. What are we? What's the problem? Come back.
We live in a fucking simulation, guys.
We do. We live in a goddamn simulation. She opened that and made a bunch of money, and he was like, "Well, I'm not going back to AEW for a couple months."
Oh,
now.
You know what, babe? I've just been thinking my elbow has just not been feeling right.
Not been great.
Like, you know, I think I just need to take another couple months off.
I'll take your picture though. Yeah.
Derek.
Yeah.
What do you think about your boy taking shots at WWE via Twitter and essentially getting called out?
Dude, he deserves all the call out he gets.
Yeah.
He's full of shit. He's the biggest subject, I guess you could say, or outrage jumper you could ever imagine when it comes to these types of things. I mean, I love the guy in the ring. I like his promos a heck of a lot, but whatever's the new hot fad cause, CM Punk's
He wants
on it.
he wants everybody to walk out of WWE
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
He wants Roman Reigns to walk out of WWE despite signing
Yeah.
a light deal and holding all the.
There's
holding all the
absolutely
gold.
zero chance any sort of union happens if you've only got like Sasha and Naomi, and maybe you only have Jimmy or Jay. You don't get both of them. Like, you've got to have Roman, the entire bloodline, Paul E, like, fuck, Randy Orton. You know, big names that are gonna.
I would have loved it. I thought they should have brought.
Wouldn't even care. He would.
I thought they should have brought
Naomi
into the blood. I thought they should have brought Naomi into the bloodline. They should have done that.
They still may. There's a lot of rumors that they're going to utilize this to bring Naomi back because they feel like Sasha Banks manipulated her, and they're going to release Sasha, and it's going to be this whole thing. This is only just beginning on this.
Oh yeah.
But
I would love.
That's
Look,
exactly
Naomi,
what I'm trying to get at right here.
Naomi
is a poor innocent bystander in this.
Yeah, if they put Naomi into the bloodline,
she's been the victim of bad booking for fucking what, 12 years?
Yeah.
You're pissed now.
Now she's walking
on this
out.
particular Monday.
Like now she's walking out. Like especially now. Like oh okay for like she was Naomi was a SmackDown Women's Champion. God, like years ago. At the how long has the SmackDown Women's Championship been around?
Oh, probably about 5-6 years.
6 years.
7.
Okay, so probably in its first year, she held the title for like a week or two, right?
They even gave her a custom belt.
They did. It glowed for like a whole month, and then, but she hasn't sniffed the title picture in at least 3-4 years, right?
She had a program with Charlotte Flair that Sonya Deville kept inserting herself in.
That's right. So but that was her first sniff.
I do love how you guys put it out there. Like she had the belt for a whole month and it glowed.
It glowed. But she had nothing since then. There was like weeks you just straight up didn't see her. Like, and then finally, like they kind of brought her back. Like they didn't let her go because obviously, like they needed the Usos because they were like the best tag team in the world. Yeah, well, so they were like, all right, look, we can't fire her. We got to keep these guys. Look, Jimmy's got like 3 DUIs. Somebody's going to drive this man to the arena. We cannot fire her. So anyway, like, but now like she's had the worst booking of anybody for like the last 5 years, and now it's like, oh, you're going to put me in a main event spot, but I don't get to defend the belt that I hold. Like, this isn't where she's walking out. This is you're absolutely right.
Yeah,
it's like
she gets to walk around and do all these media obligations with a shiny belt on her shoulder, and she's probably getting paid more money than she's been paid in the last several years because she's doing all of this extra media because she's a champion. She's happier than pigs in shit,
for sure.
Yeah,
and literally And what happens? Like, okay, now her spot is gone, and who's back in her spot? Becky and Asuka. Okay, there you go. You telling me you got a shot, and you just maybe just put Becky and Asuka back in that spot. People want to see that instead. I mean, I think they were trying to save that, but now we get Becky and Asuka. Asuka spit green mist into Becky's face last week. That was great. That was out of nowhere, but that was great. They were like, you know what? Instead of doing this thing where we elevate the women's tag team champions and have them be, fight on an individual level, because there's no other tag teams, we're just going to go back to Becky and Asuka with the green mist. And I don't know if you guys watched, but that match was killer. And Becky comes in to like hit Asuka, and Asuka, oh my God, got her right in the face, through the hair. Her hair is still kind of tinged green. She's on TV right now. She's wearing like a pirate shirt. It's kind of weird, like not like the Pittsburgh Pirates, like a roughly,
like a Johnny Depp shirt.
Yeah, like she's a pirate.
You better make sure there's no skid marks on the back of that.
Bingo. But so their loss is like sort of WWE's gain. It's like, all right, the people who are legitimately the needle movers, who people actually tune in to see, are going to be in the main event. So Hell in a Cell now just got better, because did you want to see who would you rather see? Show of hands. Do you want to see Naomi and Asuka, or did you want to see Naomi and Sasha in Hell in a Cell for respective tag team women's titles, or would you rather see Becky and Asuka? I think everybody wants to see Becky and Asuka in Hell in a Cell, right? Those are just better matches, right?
Word on the street is Becky pitched that, like, because the whole timeline's convoluted, right? That there's reports that they walked out after the show started, and then there's like differing reports that say they walked out hours before the show started. So I guess apparently Becky is the one that pitched, "Hey, I'll just go out there and lose to Asuka, and we'll make something out of this," So I don't know, man. It's all going to be very, very interesting to see what plays out here, right?
What in the fuck? Let's just move on to match of the week.
For fuck's sake. What's up, bud?
So my match of the week, I told you guys what it was, but I didn't tell you why it was. It's Shinsuke Nakamura versus Sami Zayn, and I will tell you why. Is because the match made sense because wrestling matches have rules, damn it, and you count when people are outside of the ring, damn it. So what happened? It was a good match overall, right? Because so Sami pushes Shinsuke off the top turnbuckle. Shinsuke takes a tremendous bump. And then they're outside scuffling around, fighting around. But it was a great match up until that point, too. It got like 10 or so minutes, which on SmackDown is pretty good because it's only a 2-hour show. Great match. Anyway, at the end of the match, Shinsuke's back in the ring, right? And Sammy's trying to recover from like getting tossed into the barricades, trying to recover. 8, 9, and he's still like 10 feet away. He like slides in, literally like his hand is under. His feet are off the ground and his arm is under the rope at 10, and he gets into the ring. It's perfect timing by Sami Zayn because rules matter in wrestling. And just beat the 10 count, steps right into a Kinshasa. Bam! 1, 2, 3. Oh my God, perfect! It was so perfect.
Fantastic finish.
It was like when that happened. I'm like, this is why counting matters. This is why wrestling rules matter. This is why referees matter. They just proved it. They proved the point. And great finish. I love the Kinshasa too. I don't know if anybody else is, because every time it happens, somebody on commentary is like, Kinshasa! And it's great every time. And Pat McAfee and Michael Cole yelled it at the same time. I love it. It was that's my match of the week, and that's why.
It was a good match, man. Absolutely enjoyed the end of that. Derek, what you got,
I'm even more sold on it now than I was originally.
I can do that.
So, my match of the week, which I feel no one will have arguments about, would be the title unification tag team match.
It was good.
Very good match.
I almost went that route, but I decided to go.
Yeah, I liked your pick. That was very good.
It's too obvious.
It throws the views elsewhere.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, we saw some vintage Orton, which was awesome. He comes through the ropes, pulls them through, gets a little dancy with his moves there. I like the swagger coming from Orton here. He's really hitting his prime here lately, working with Matt Riddle, and Riddle obviously is a supreme athlete, so we see a lot of good things coming out of him. Great selling, great match. The end, I love where it's going. Normally, I would not pick a match that has a screwed up finish like that, but due to the storyline that we are moving towards, I'm sure I'm good with it. So that's my match of the week.
Yeah,
it was good.
I mean, I feel like we talked about that match in its own segment on the show. So like, I think overall that was kind of all of our pick for like match of the week, right? Like,
yeah.
I mean, I enjoyed it a lot. Too,
I mean, it's sort of like
being a dick now.
It's sort of like crescendo of the segment. It's of the build, right? It's the sum of the whole greater than the parts, although the parts are also very great, right?
Right.
So it's
Because no, Derek, I'm not being a dick because Tom said that he too would have picked the tag team unification champion, match because it was the obvious pick, and I feel the same way. And I'm glad that you brought it up. And I'm not being a dick. Like I think that it was absolutely the match of the week, but the one that kind of scratched that itch for me, okay, was Xavier Woods versus Butch.
I like that one too. I like that a
Um,
lot, actually.
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying watching Pete Dunne fall into this new character and still get his shit in every once in a while, and his little small joint manipulation stuff. And I know Vince hates that kind of stuff, but he gets it in there. He works, stomping the hands and working the hands a little bit. Um, hey man, I really like what Pete Dunne's doing here. Like he's picked up this ball and he's running with it, and hopefully it works out for him in the long run.
I mean, it's
And
getting over.
yeah.
I
In
think.
the meantime, they can continue to have great matches for me to watch, like Xavier Woods and Pete Dunne.
I do love his roll up that's called the backwoods. I love
Yes.
the backwoods.
And
It's
if anybody
so
can get a roll up over, it's gonna be Woods.
it's Woods, yeah. It's
So.
good every time.
All right, guys. Well, that's pretty much ties it up, huh?
Solid, tight little package.
Does
this
anybody
week,
like
though.
LA Knight's new gimmick?
Oh yeah, that's good.
Anybody?
It
We'll
could
see how it
be.
goes.
I mean, I'll see. I'll give it. He's had
Max
what 30.
Dupree.
Yeah, he's got. I'll give it.
I
I'll
hated
give it a
LA
few
Knight, and he got it over with me. So we'll see what he does with
Yes,
Max
I mean,
Dupree. But why do we need a rename? Why?
weeks. Why
That's
not?
what we,
Who cares?
That's what we do, pal.
Who cares? What's LA Knight gonna do?
Raquel
on the main
Gonzalez,
roster?
Raquel Rodriguez.
Well, so
Well,
she's
I
not
think
Giant
it's-
Gonzalez,
Yeah.
and they could sell our shirts at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Stupid.
Just like, Britt Baker ripped off the Rolls Royce logo. WWE's probably just going to do it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's.
And
I mean, it's just too.
It'll be a thing.
Yeah. And then nobody has to. She's obviously big. She's a giant, but then nobody will be like, Giant Gonzalez, because that didn't get over great.
Yeah, her whole babyface run so far on Raw has been just shit.
No, she won last week with the.
I don't care.
Chicago.
You come out here smiling the whole time you're in the ring. You look stupid.
Look,
It's
she'll
not
turn at some
believable.
point. It'll be fine.
It's
Just
not
relax.
believable. And you come
She'll
out to the you look like a green person coming out to the ring in front of this Raw crowd. Whereas previously, whenever you were just being you, it was great.
Different company, pal.
I don't see what
I
don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see it. I think
Different
it's cool.
booker.
I don't
Different
I don't
booker.
see it. I think it's cool. I think it's fine. I'm down. I'm here for it.
Hey, so if you're watching us on YouTube, you know that we exist. Please like, comment, and subscribe. While you're here, hit that like button. We would greatly, greatly appreciate it. Hey, man, nice little show today. Like you said, Tom, tight little package. I appreciate it. Always appreciate your time, gentlemen. Check us out over social media, both Twitter and Instagram at @1_FallWC. That's ONE. Yeah. Yep. Audio folks. Thank you so much. Been a great week over on that side of things, gentlemen. So, keep doing what you do. With all that being said, thanks for hanging out. It's all love. We'll catch you next week. One Fall WrestleCast.
Hoo-hoo.